The morning sun had barely risen above the skyline of the bustling city when Alexander Reed, one of the youngest and most powerful CEOs in the country, stepped out of his sleek black car. Dressed in an immaculate navy suit, he was every bit the picture of success, sharp, disciplined, and untouchable. To the world, he was the man who had everything. But to his 5-year-old daughter, Lily, he was just, Daddy. It was supposed to be a normal morning. Alexander was on his way to drop Lily off at her elite kindergarten before heading to a board meeting that would decide the future of his billion-dollar company. But as he adjusted his tie and reached to open the car door for her, something strange caught his eye. Lily had already stepped out and was standing a few feet away, talking to someone. Alexander frowned. His security team was usually careful about keeping strangers away. But there, at the corner of the school gate, sat a frail-looking woman in worn clothes, her hands trembling as she clutched a paper cup. Her coat was torn, her hair messy, and her face, though tired and pale, carried a quiet sadness. "Sweetheart, come back here," Alexander called, his tone controlled but firm. But Lily didn't move. She was speaking softly to the woman, her little hand reaching into her school bag. When Alexander approached, he froze. The poor woman looked up, and for a brief second, their eyes met. His breath caught in his throat. It was her. The woman quickly looked away, as if ashamed to be recognized. Alexander's world spun, memories rushing back like an old wound reopening. Her name was Elena Carter. 7 years ago, before Alexander became the ruthless CEO everyone feared, before he lost himself to ambition and pressure, Elena had been the woman he loved. She was kind, passionate, and full of dreams. They had planned a future together. But when his career took off and her art studio faced financial ruin, he had chosen success over love. They parted ways, leaving behind tears and words that were never forgiven. And now, she was sitting on the ground, begging for coins, while his daughter spoke to her with innocent compassion. "Daddy," Lily said, turning to him with her big brown eyes, "she's hungry. Can we help her?" Alexander's chest tightened. He wanted to pull Lily away, to protect her from the sight, but something inside him stopped. The little girl's kindness mirrored the very thing he had lost over the years. He swallowed hard and crouched down beside her. "Elena," he whispered. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Alex," she breathed. Her voice was weak, almost broken. For a moment, they simply stared at each other, two people from different worlds, bound by a shared past and an unexpected encounter. Lily looked between them, confused. "You know each other?" Alexander hesitated. "We used to," he said quietly. He noticed how thin she had become, how her fingers trembled not from fear but from hunger and exhaustion. "What happened to you?" he asked, guilt dripping from his voice. Elena gave a small, sad smile. "Life happened, Alex. My mother got sick. I sold my art to pay for her medicine, but it wasn't enough. After she passed, I lost my place, lost everything." She looked down. "It's not your problem." But Alexander couldn't shake the knot in his chest. The woman who once believed in him, who used to paint his dreams into colors, was now living on the streets, and he had walked away from her when she needed him most. "Come with me," he said suddenly. Elena shook her head. "No, I don't need your pity." "It's not pity," he replied softly. "It's the least I can do." Lily reached out and held Elena's hand. "Please come. Daddy can help." Something in that innocent plea broke through Elena's pride. Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded weakly. A few hours later, Elena found herself sitting in the backseat of Alexander's car. He took her to a quiet cafe where she could eat in peace. As she devoured the meal, Alexander sat across from her, silent, his mind racing. He had spent years building empires, but in all his achievements, he had never felt as powerless as he did now. When she finished, she looked up. "Why are you doing this, Alex? We're not the same people anymore." He sighed. "Maybe not, but I can't erase what I did. You once told me that success means nothing if you lose your heart on the way. I didn't understand it back then." His voice cracked slightly. "But I do now." For the first time, Elena saw something real in his eyes, remorse. Over the next few days, Alexander arranged for her to stay in a small apartment owned by his company's charity foundation. He offered her a job in the art department of one of his firms, where her creativity could finally shine again. At first, she resisted, but Lily's visits slowly melted her hesitation. The little girl would often bring her drawings, proudly showing them to Miss Elena. Sometimes, they painted together, their laughter filling the small studio. For Lily, Elena was like a friend. For Alexander, seeing them together felt like healing something he didn't know was broken. Months passed. Elena regained her strength, her art began to sell again, and she started rebuilding her life. But one evening, as the three of them walked through a charity event organized by Alexander's company, a reporter snapped a photo of them together. The next morning, headlines screamed, "CEO Alexander Reed seen with unknown woman and daughter, who is she?" Scandal brewed fast. Investors questioned his judgment. Board members demanded answers. Elena, fearing she would ruin his reputation, packed her bags and left a note. "Thank you, Alex, for everything, but I won't let my past destroy your future again." When he found the note, Alexander felt something inside him shatter. For the first time, he left his office in the middle of the day, no explanations, no meetings. He searched for her all night, driving through the city until he found her sitting at a bus stop, clutching her small suitcase. Rain poured down around them. "Elena," he shouted, stepping out of the car. She turned, eyes wide in shock. "Alex, what are you doing here? I lost you once because I was too afraid to choose my heart," he said, his voice breaking. "I'm not making that mistake again. I don't care what the world thinks. I care about you, about Lily having someone who shows her what kindness looks like." Tears rolled down her cheeks. For the first time in years, she believed him. Slowly, she nodded, and as he took her hand, the city lights reflected in the rain like 1,000 new beginnings. Months later, the art studio Elena once dreamed of reopened, this time with Alexander's full support, but under her own name, the Second Chance Gallery. The opening night was a success. Lily stood proudly between them, holding their hands. In the crowd, people admired the final painting displayed in the center, a little girl offering her hand to a woman sitting on the street, with a faint reflection of a man watching from behind, his face filled with realization. Below it, a small plaque read, "Compassion sees what pride ignores." And for Alexander Reed, that moment with his daughter and Elena wasn't just about redemption, it was about rediscovering what truly mattered: love, forgiveness, and the courage to begin again.